A woman smelled perfume on her husband for the first time in 6 years of marriage and experienced domestic violence. After that, her husband not only didn't restrain himself but became even more aggressive. Unable to bear it any longer, the woman started practicing self-defense and decided to fight back. The woman's name is Hannah. 6 years ago, she was just an ordinary waitress. One day, she was harassed by a troublemaker, and Sang Biao stepped in to save her. Soon after, they quickly entered the halls of marriage. A year later, they had a lovely daughter. Sang Biao was successful in his career, and their daughter was sweet and adorable. Hannah felt her life had reached its peak. One day, while her husband was showering, Hannah received a call from a woman, leaving her flustered. Her husband, realizing something was wrong, hurriedly apologized. Naively, Hannah forgave him. Not long after, she smelled the perfume on her husband again. This time, Sang Biao didn't want to explain anything. Hannah, angry, confronted him, only to receive a slap in return. "What? I can't hit you." "No, you can't." Then she received another heavy blow. Before Hannah could get up, Sang Biao approached her and told her that since he was the one making money, he would set the rules in the house. Whether she liked it or not, she had to accept these rules. After saying this, Sang Biao arrogantly left the house and didn't return that night. At this point, Hannah wanted to talk to Sang Biao's mother. But unexpectedly, Sang Biao's mother asked her, "What exactly did you do to him?" Hannah went to her best friend, who gave her 2 pieces of advice. Either continue to endure it or leave with the child. Hannah didn't want to endure it, nor did she want to leave immediately. She went to the police station to ask for advice. The police told her that if she could gather evidence of domestic violence, they could arrest him directly. However, Sang Biao had money and connections and could bail himself out at any time. Once he was out, Hannah's life would become even more difficult. So, the only option was to leave. Hannah went to pick up her daughter from school, only to find that Sang Biao had picked her up early. That night, while Sang Biao was asleep, Hannah packed her bags, took her sleeping daughter, and went outside where a friend was waiting to help. Just as she was about to open the door, Sang Biao grabbed her hair from behind and started beating her. The friend outside heard the commotion, rushed into the room, only to be held at gunpoint by Sang Biao. Sang Biao threatened them with the gun, saying, "For trespassing, I can shoot you at will." Fortunately, her friend reacted quickly and hurriedly woke up her daughter. Sang Biao didn't want the daughter to see him with a gun, so he hid it behind his back. Just like that, her friend took Hannah and her daughter away. At this time, all of Hannah's bank cards were frozen. Sang Biao also knew all her friends' addresses, so Hannah had to find a small motel to stay in. But soon, Sang Biao called again. He found this place through her friend's credit card records. Hannah felt someone knocking on the door. In a hurry, she packed her luggage, took her daughter, and quickly ran out the back door. Luckily, they caught a bus and left. To escape Sang Biao, Hannah went to her ex-boyfriend from the 7 continents. Just when he thought everything was safe, there was a sudden knock on the door. It was a few people claiming to be from the FBI, investigating a human trafficking case. After confirming that Hannah and her daughter were hidden, the ex-boyfriend opened the door. Once inside, they started searching everywhere. Fortunately, Hannah and her daughter were well hidden, and these people were not from the FBI but were gang members hired by Sang Biao. The men threatened the ex-boyfriend with knives. Before leaving, they not only knocked over items on the table but also slashed a big hole in the sofa. Even this place wasn't safe anymore, so Hannah left overnight. Then, she found her biological father, hoping he could offer some help. But her father didn't believe her, thinking she was after his money. He tried to send her away with $12. Angrily, Hannah tore off the necklace her father gave her, placed it in his hand, and left. With no money and nowhere to go, they sat on the outdoor steps in a daze. Hannah tried her best not to let her daughter see her vulnerability. But her perceptive daughter still noticed something was wrong. She had no choice but to hold her daughter in her arms. Through a friend's introduction, she went to a social assistance center and started living a communal life there. After cutting her long hair, she used a fake identity to find a job. That day, she received a letter from her father. It turned out her father had been threatened by Sang Biao. He started to take an interest in Hannah and sent him some money. With the money, Hannah found a place to stay, gave her daughter a new name, and then sent her to school. She thought they could live in hiding like this. But soon, her daughter started missing her dad. They drove hundreds of kilometers away to make a phone call. However, the 15-second call was still tracked by Sang Biao's friends at the police station. One day, while Hannah was tidying up the room, Sang Biao suddenly appeared inside. He grabbed Hannah and pushed her around the room. As they were struggling, her daughter ran out of the room. She rushed forward and grabbed Sang Biao's hair, but he pushed her away. Hannah seized the opportunity to spray Sang Biao's face with pepper spray from her watch. Then, she picked up her daughter and ran. She quickly pulled down the trap she had set at the door, locking Sang Biao inside the room. The two of them got to the car and were changing clothes when a man came over and knocked on the window. Seeing the familiar face, Hannah immediately understood everything. It turned out that Sang Biao's heroic rescue back then was just a setup. She quickly locked the car door, hit the gas, and sped away. The man chased them in his car, repeatedly ramming into the back of theirs. This scared her daughter into crying loudly. Using the advantage of the car's maneuverability, she successfully shook off the man with an iron fence. On the road, they switched to another car. They had supplies prepared in advance, and after putting on wigs, they continued driving. She found a lawyer for help. The lawyer told her she had 2 chances to appeal, but she gave them up. If she attended the hearing, her daughter's custody would definitely be taken away. Moreover, the hearing might just be a trap. Sang Biao just wanted to find her. It seemed she had to fight back. She gave her best friend some money to take her daughter on a trip abroad for a while. The hearing was scheduled for next month. She only had 1 month left. Today, she found a professional coach for him. Having suffered domestic violence multiple times, she could no longer endure it. She decided to fight back. She began training day and night. Whether it was grappling, counterattacks after being restrained, or the psychology of fighting, after some time, her gaze became determined, with no trace of fear. Then, she found a woman who looked very similar to her in height and appearance, successfully shaking off Sang Biao's followers. At night, Hannah climbed over the wall into Sang Biao's villa, using professional tools to open the door. She hid on the beam of the room until the next day when Sang Biao left the room, and then she climbed down. Then, she took professional tools out of her bag, first cutting the room's phone line, then putting away all sharp objects, and used a metal detector to find the gun. She placed letters about her daughter's custody in the drawer, then threw the gun into the trash can. After setting up the signal jammer, she familiarized herself with the layout of the room. Once everything was ready, she put on big leather boots, wrapped her hands with professional bandages for hand spikes, and applied a layer of lubricant on herself. Next, she waited for Sang Biao to return. In the evening, just as Sang Biao returned to the room, the lights suddenly went out. At this moment, Hannah greeted him. Sang Biao hurried to the drawer to get his gun, accidentally leaving his fingerprints on the letters. He found the gun missing and tried to call the police, but the landline was silent and his cell phone had no signal. Hannah's signal jammer worked. When Sang Biao confirmed that only Hannah was there and saw her raise her small hands, he burst into laughter, laughing heartily. Hannah stepped forward and slapped him twice before Sang Biao could react. Sang Biao suddenly turned and punched Hannah, who swiftly jumped downstairs. Under Hannah's provocation, Sang Biao first knocked over a lamp and a flower pot, then shattered a glass coffee table, leaving traces of the fight all over the room. Hannah continuously taunted Sang Biao with words and took the opportunity to feign a flaw, allowing Sang Biao to grab her by the neck. After leaving marks on her neck, Hannah delivered several elbow strikes followed by a knee hit, causing Sang Biao to stagger and crash into the table, passing out. Hannah picked up a slab, intending to finish him off, but at the critical moment, she softened. After all, he was her daughter's father, a man she once loved. She called her best friend, saying she just couldn't do it. While she was crying to her friend, the awakened Sang Biao struck her hard. Just as Sang Biao was about to deliver the final blow, Hannah took him down with a scissor kick. At this moment, memories of Sang Biao's domestic violence against her flooded her mind. She was no longer merciful, delivering multiple brutal blows. A genuine kick sent Sang Biao tumbling down from upstairs. Sang Biao crashed onto the coffee table below, meeting his end. Hannah went to the bridge and threw the toolkit into the water. Then, she called the police. After the police investigation, it was deemed self-defense. From then on, he no longer had to hide or worry about domestic violence. The movie, Enough is Enough, ends here. There's only a difference between 0 and countless times when it comes to domestic violence. Hannah in the movie is lucky. When she could no longer endure, she chose to face it bravely and got rid of Sang Biao. But in real life, how many people can do the same? Alright, if you want to see more great movie reviews, please follow me. Bye bye.
Yeah.